Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This one is entitled $30 for Pliers? Yep, $30 for pliers. What are they, made out of gold? Well, here's the story. This was back at Tiny Middle. I believe this was somewhere in the June, July, August area of 2014. Very close, within 6 months of my leaving Tiny Middle. And I was in the shop fixing computers, and obviously I have my tools there and any other stuff I need and whatnot. And we were issued what they called an iFixit kit. And I think these are available still. They have all sorts of little bits, funny shaped bits like the Apple Pentalobe bits, and there's hex in there, there's all different sizes of flat and Phillips, there's Torx, there's security Torx, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Whole bunch of different bits in there. I don't know if there's 25 or even 50 pieces, something like that. So we were issued these. So anyway, time is going on, and I'm getting increasingly fed up with the place, but I'm dealing with it. And my boss, Pat, is he dead yet? I hope so. My boss, Pat, comes to me, the one guy who was holding down the shop, and says, I need to borrow some tools. Well, as much as I didn't like the guy, he is my manager. It's not like I can really tell him no. And being that he's my manager, he'll bring the tools back. Right? Wrong. Oh, great. So I don't remember what the story was, but they would sometimes have people from within do things that they should have had an IT crew do. And we weren't IT. They had an IT help desk for that, but they were remote. You'd call them for help. So we didn't have anybody on site. That was us in the shop. So I think what happened was they were changing over the credit card swipe or readers or whatever you call it now. We called them pin pads, where you have the buttons, so if you use like a debit card, you put your pin number in and that kind of stuff. At the time, these things were getting hacked, and there were either software or firmware upgrades for them, or throw all of these out, here are new ones. They're secure. They didn't speed the registers up any. No, 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 no. So basically, Pat had to go out there and disconnect these things, and they had all kinds of security bits and crazy shit. And then because when they were installed, the screws were tightened down too far that when you go to unscrew these things, it takes the little things out of the port on the back of the computer. I don't have an example to show you here. But it has, like, for example, if you remember, like a VGA cable back in the day, and a lot of you are probably still using that even right now, where you plug it in, and then it has these thumb screws. Well, these used, like, security Torx screws, so nobody could just unscrew that while the cashier runs to get the manager and run off with the machine and reverse engineer it, or I don't, whatever the fuck it is. Maybe it even stores data in it. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, he had to disconnect these things. So he says, let me borrow your bit set, your iFixit set, and I need a pair of needle nose pliers. So I give him the stuff, and he goes out there, and he has to go register by register and change out these pin pads and do whatever he has to do. So he's out there for a couple of hours. I guess he got the memo that if you have to do something, make it take as long as possible so you're not given another task. I don't know what the deal was. Either that or he was just slow or whatever the fuck. So later in the day, hours later in the day, he comes back and he says, I'm sorry, I couldn't get everything done, and it's getting time for me to leave and for you to leave, and you mind if I hang on to your tools till tomorrow? Fine, no problem. I don't need them right now, so. Tomorrow comes, he goes back out there, he's still working on shit. And later in the day, he comes back to me with the iFixit kit with 2 bits missing and no pliers. Thanks, Pat, but there's a couple of bits missing, and you didn't bring my pliers back either. Yeah, I lost them, sorry. What? How do you lose these things? First of all, they weren't yours to begin with, and I know things can happen. You can borrow somebody's car because maybe yours is in the shop, and you're walking through the parking lot at a grocery store, and there's one of the storm drain things or whatever, and you're trying to put the keys in your pocket so you don't lose them or something like that, and it falls down in there. Yeah, you can lose things, but we're in a building, and there's no abyss where this is going to fall into the basement because this place didn't have a basement or anything. He misplaced the tools, not lost them. He said, I lost them. I said, that's not acceptable. You can't just lose my tools. They're in the store. Go back, look at every register, and find my fucking tools. And this is what I would say to him. I said directly to him, I said, find my fucking tools. And don't come back till you have them. Now I'm pissed. You didn't want to get me pissed. You don't want to get me pissed ever. So he lost them. So I said, all right, well, now we got a problem. Now we got a big problem. So I make a phone call to our main headquarters, and I said, here's what my boss did. And they said, okay, listen, no problem. No problem. No problem at all. We sell the iFixit kit on the sales floor now. You can go and get one and have it summed out. S-U-M-M-E-D. Summed out. Sum was simply store use merchandise, where something comes off the sales floor, is put in a book or a log or the system or whatever it was. This was out of my hands because the manager had to do this. And basically it said that this item is no longer for sale and we're using it internally and we're not getting our profit. We're not selling it. We're using it and getting our money's worth that way. I said, okay, pliers. And they said, go see what we have. Find something. And if you don't, or you don't like what we have, go and buy some pliers, and we will gladly reimburse you. Okay. Okay. Still pissed I don't have my tools. This is going on several days now. And finally I decided that this bastard isn't giving me my tools back, and I am going to need replacement tools, not knowing what was going to happen to me in the future, and I'd be leaving within a few months. So I went out to the floor and I got a new set, and then this was written on a form, which was then put on Pat's desk, and he had to sum it out. And he says, fuck you, I'm not giving this to you. I said, your boss says you are. First off, he had no right to even say that because, of course, his boss said I can have it. And we were supposed to, as technicians, pretty much have carte blanche. Help ourselves to anything we would need to do our job in the shop, whether it be tools, a voltometer, more toner for the printer, you name it, whatever we needed, we could have, and it would be summed out and accounted for, and that way nobody's stealing anything and we're not losing money as a company. And that's, everybody's happy and we're getting productivity out of our employees and this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, your boss said that, and as a matter of fact, I still need my goddamn pliers. And we don't have anything that will replace those. So I'm going to go online and I'm going to find pliers. And I did. I went online and I searched around. This was a cheap pair of pliers. Little pair of needle nose pliers. Simple little piece of crap. Probably made in China. I have it at home. Whatever. Just a piece of crap. I actually jumped the gun here because I told you I have pliers at home. Those were the original ones. But here's the thing. Now we're getting to the $30 for pliers. Well, I looked online and I found the same pliers I wanted with the same color handles. I didn't give a shit about the color handles. I didn't give a shit if it was made in China. I didn't care. I just wanted those pliers, and for some reason, I happen to remember the brand on it. There's something about it. And I searched around, and I found this place that sold them. In fact, a couple of places that sold them. And there was like nothing special about these. They wanted $30 for a pair of fucking needle nose pliers. I said, oh, come on, $30? Nah, they're never going to go for this. It's a little cheap shit pair of pliers. What could it cost, right? And as a matter of fact, I looked on Harbor Freight's website. They had a 5-pack of pliers for something like $12.99 that included a small pair of needle nose pliers, just like I needed. So I went to the general manager, or maybe it was the sales manager. It doesn't make a difference. Went to one of the other managers, not Pat. His name was Paul? I think Paul? I don't remember now. Scott. His name was Scott. Does it matter if his name was Paul or Scott? His name was Scott. That's what his name was. I said, Scott, listen, here's the deal. I got to talk to you. Let's go in your office. We went in. And I told him the story. He says, you find the pliers you need. You buy them. Give me a receipt, or if you're buying it online, give me the invoice of it, or whatever it is, and I will pay you. No problem. I said, Scott, this is a pair of needle nose pliers. These are not gold. But these are the ones I had. And those are the ones I want back. Pat refuses to even go and look for the fucking things. And you are willing to shell out $30? It's not $30. That's the problem. It's the principle of it costing $30 when you can get a pair at even Home Depot or Lowe's, Menards, whatever you got around, Ace Hardware for like $5. And you are so willing to spend $30. Won't give me a raise, but you'll shell out $30 for pliers. It's like the gold coins they sell on TV. You know, it's worth $25, but we'll give it to you for $20. And you're getting an $85 value. And it's a piece of shit, not worth anything coin. And they stole your money and that was it. It's the kind of stuff that really, really rich people waste their money on. Lavish items, stuff that is in total excess of what it ever would need to be. Just well over the top of what the common man, if you will, would ever need. And they were so willing to spend $30 for pliers. So I went to Pat and I said, hey, Pat, I talked to Scott. And Scott said, he'll pay $30 for pliers. He said, the fuck he will. I don't think so. Four o'clock was quitting time for me. Pack up my stuff, lock up my toolbox. And there's Pat at the door. He wasn't waiting for me. They had this thing where a manager would have to stand by the door because they fired the rent-a-cop that they had and said, oh, we'll have somebody that we're paying a huge salary to stand there instead and thank people and make sure they're not stealing shit instead of paying a rent-a-cop. Now, granted, is the rent-a-cop going to do anything? Yeah, actually, he did stop people before, and he actually did a decent job. They just got cheap. But they'll spend $30 for pliers. And I said, all right, Pat, I'll see you tomorrow. He said, oh, here. And he hands me back my pliers. I said much earlier, they weren't lost. They weren't lost. They were misplaced, but they didn't vanish. It wasn't like you're never going to get this back. They were there, and he just didn't even give a shit to look for them. And caused me all this fucking anguish. The best guy he had in the shop. And this is how I was treated. Well, it's a damn good thing my gallbladder fucking exploded and got me out of there. Because I probably would have been dead by now. I can't, to this day, I'm scarred from that. I don't mind spending exorbitant amounts of money on something if it's going to be worth it. If it's going to be worth it. And I'm not going to buy something cheap that's a piece of crap if I can get something of much better quality for a more reasonable, well, I shouldn't say that, for, you know, a higher price but still reasonable for what you're getting. You know, I'm not going to get a $5 pair of pliers when I can get a gold-plated pair of pliers. You know, I'm not going to waste money like that, but I'll get a $15 pair of pliers if they're a lot stronger, a lot better, a much better made tool. So, you know, if it's worth it, I'll spend the money gladly. I will gladly pay for quality. I won't pay for lavishness or luxury as such. But there they were, tiny middle, ready to shell out $30 for a little shitty pair of pliers. To this day, I can't process this information. I don't know. It just leaves me completely bewildered. Anyway, that's going to wrap this one up. There are, I'm sure, more stories from Tiny Middle. This one ended on a kind of like, ooh, note. I don't know how else to explain it, but it just did. I don't know. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. And stay tuned. There will be more old war stories, and I got a whole list of them. This is the last I'm recording for today. So next time we'll be in another location somewhere. And that's it. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.